I have been driving a rickshaw for 15 years. But I can never forget that night. When I tell you about it, you'll be surprised. My name is Aslam. I am a poor man. I have 3 small children and a wife who is always sick. She can neither walk on her own nor take care of the children. My entire life has passed driving a rickshaw, yet we could never make ends meet. During the day I worked hard, but in the evening, when I returned home, seeing Syra's incomplete medicines and the hunger in the children's stomachs tested my patience. One day I decided that I would start working at night as well. I spoke to my friend Farouk. He tried to stop me, saying, "Aslam, live with whatever you earn. The route is dangerous. The road from the village to the city is deserted. And in between, there's that old graveyard." I listened to him and quietly said, "I know, Farouk. Actually, the road to the city passes right through a massive graveyard. It stretches along both sides of the road. It's so vast that even after traveling 10 minutes on the rickshaw, it doesn't end. People say this graveyard is 600 years old. No one passes through it at night. But I've heard that at night, some people coming back from the city pay extra fares. That's why I will go to the city at night and pick up passengers on the return journey." That night, for the first time, I filled the rickshaw with oil and headed towards the city along the deserted village road. It was nighttime. Strange whistling sounds echoed in the wind. When I entered the graveyard section, I suddenly felt as if someone had sat behind my rickshaw. My breath caught. I didn't dare look back. My heart started pounding, and Farouk's words echoed in my mind. I checked the rickshaw's mirror, but in the darkness, I could see nothing. I convinced myself that it was just an illusion. Suddenly, I heard the tinkling of bangles, as if a woman had sat in my rickshaw. Then, a faint laugh, like someone sitting behind was joking. I quickly pulled the rickshaw to the side and looked back. There was nothing, no passenger, no shadow. I whispered Allah's name and continued driving. After a while, near the city, a woman stopped my rickshaw and said she needed to go to the far end of the city. I agreed. She promised to pay 1,000 Indian rupees, which was a huge sum for me, because I had never earned that much in half a day. I felt happy and silently thanked Allah, thinking maybe my decision was the right one. But little did I know, the journey I had chosen was about to take me into a darkness from which there might be no return. The next day, as usual, I set out with my rickshaw on the same deserted road where the first passenger had given me 1,000 Indian rupees the previous night. I had a small hope that maybe I would find another passenger like her. Over and over, the faces of those 3 women kept appearing in my mind. Their large eyes, thin lips painted with red lipstick, and the way they smiled together and stared at me through the mirror. It felt like a scene straight out of a movie. But their faces were frightening, as if they were not human. I wasn't exactly scared of them. Rather, I felt a strange pull, as if they were trying to say something but couldn't. When they wanted to get off near the graveyard, I was truly shocked. What business could they possibly have there at that hour? Anyway, they left after giving 1,000 Indian rupees, and I felt happy that I had covered the day's expenses. The next morning, as I was getting ready for work, Syra woke up quickly and said she would go buy groceries. I said okay and left for work myself. A little later, my phone rang. It was Syra. I answered, and in a very worried voice, she said, "Can you come home for a moment?" I asked, "What happened? Is it something you can't tell me over the phone?" She replied, "It's strange and you need to see it yourself." A sense of worry rose in me. I asked, "Is everything okay with the children?" She said, "The children are fine, just come home. When I reached home, Saira asked me to sit and said, "Remember the 1,000 Indian rupees you gave me yesterday? I used it to buy sugar, rice, lentils, and kept the rest in my purse. But when I just opened the purse, there was another 1,000 Indian rupees note inside." I said maybe she forgot she had already put it there. She replied, "Check the purse yourself." I took the purse, looked inside, and sure enough, there was a 1,000 Indian rupees note. I took it out and put it in her hand. She looked inside the purse again, and her eyes widened in astonishment. She said, "Look again." I checked once more, and there was another 1,000 Indian rupees note. 2 seconds later, when I opened the purse again, yet another 1,000 Indian rupees note had appeared. We looked at each other in disbelief. Our hearts were pounding. Every time we opened the purse, a new 1,000 Indian rupees note appeared, as if by magic, as if the purse was a gift from a genie, or the mouth of a hidden treasure had opened. Saira's eyes lit up with joy. She said, "These notes were given to us by those women, weren't they?" "Then they weren't women, they were witches." I sat quietly, staring at her. I said, "If they were witches, why didn't they harm us? On the contrary, they are helping us. If this continues, we'll never run out of money." Saira, lost in her misunderstanding, thought that our luck had finally awakened. At that moment, she started preparing to go to the market again. She said, "I'll go get more groceries." I told her, "Wait, don't do this every time, or the neighbors will get suspicious." She replied, "I'll just hide it a little." But inside, my heart was trembling. I still remembered those women. Their gaze, their silence, and their sudden smiles, which seemed to signal some unseen danger. I sat exhausted, a mix of awe and fear washing over me, thinking, who were these women who gave us all this? Where did they come from? And why did they leave us with all of this? Would they come back? Is there a hidden condition or a heavy price to pay that we don't yet know? Meanwhile, Saira was jubilant, calling this a blessing sent from the heavens. But in my heart, an eerie fear remained. This wasn't ordinary. It was the work of some unseen force whose consequences we could neither predict nor understand. The next day, with a mix of fear and curiosity in my heart, I set out with my rickshaw along the same road where I had encountered the three women. I wanted to meet them again to ask why they had given me the money, why they helped me, why they had alighted near the graveyard, and whether they were really human or something else. My heart was pounding. I was terrified inside. Part of me even wished they wouldn't appear again, because their faces and demeanor were still vivid in my mind. The redness of their eyes, their silence, their calm yet otherworldly expressions, the memory of their smiles lingered in my mind and took over my senses. I stood on the city streets for a long time, searching for passengers, but for some reason, no one was willing to sit in my rickshaw. It felt as if an unseen atmosphere surrounded me, like a veil around my existence. After some time, the same three women suddenly appeared, walking toward my rickshaw. Their eyes were as deep as ever, and the same smile adorned their faces. But this time, their smiles carried even more mystery, as if they already knew I would be here today. I shivered from within, my body drenched in sweat. They silently began to sit in the rickshaw. At that very moment, a stranger appeared near me, looking like a villager. He said, "I want to go to the village. Let's go." I turned to look, and my tongue froze, because my rickshaw was already occupied by the three women. I told the man, "Brother, the rickshaw is full. I already have passengers." He looked at me angrily and said, "Then why are you standing on the road?" With that, he walked away in frustration. I quickly started the rickshaw. My breaths became uncontrollable, and I kept wiping sweat off my face as I drove. Yet strangely, the women remained calm, as if this were an everyday occurrence for them. It felt like they knew exactly what I was thinking. After a while, I mustered the courage to ask, "Who are you? Are you witches?" All three laughed together. Their laughter echoed in my ears like a water cup dropping in an empty room. It had a softness in its tone. "We are not witches. We are a tribe," they said. My body trembled. My tongue dried up. But I asked again, "Why did you help me? What did you gain? Why did you have mercy on me?" They answered, "You needed help, so we helped." I remained silent after that. I continued driving the rickshaw, avoiding looking at them in the mirror because their eyes frightened me. Yet, their smiling faces brought a strange calmness that was tinged with fear. After some time, we reached the village. They got off the rickshaw and once again gave me a 1,000 Indian rupees note. They said, "Remember, if you use this note too much, its power will end." I bowed my head and nodded. As I looked up, the three women had vanished, as if swallowed by the ground or absorbed by the sky. I felt my heart almost stop. I was about to collapse when a villager came to support me. He asked, "Brother, what happened?" I replied, "Nothing, just felt dizzy." I turned the rickshaw back toward the city and somehow reached home. When Syra opened the door, I quietly went inside and told her everything. How I had met the three women again, how they were not ordinary humans but from a tribe, and how they had given me another 1,000 Indian rupees note. Syra bowed slightly in gratitude and said, "Then this is indeed help from Allah. The tribe must have been sent by some power to ease our difficulties." She added that the second note in the purse worked the same way. Whatever we spent, it returned. Now, one note remained in my pocket, and one in Syra's purse. Whenever we reached into them, a note appeared in our hands. On the first day, we were so overjoyed that we began buying everything we wanted. Suddenly, I remembered the tribe's warning. Overusing the note would drain its power. I explained to Syra that we should buy only what we truly needed and not misuse this power. She agreed, and now we spend only as much as necessary every day. I go to work and sometimes give to beggars. At home, I bring food for the children, and Syra buys groceries, grains, flour, and vegetables. We returned to a simple life, ensuring this power stayed with us as long as possible. We no longer dreamed of palaces, jewelry, or expensive clothes. We were happy that we no longer went hungry. Our children now received milk daily. Our home was never in darkness because we paid electricity bills on time. Our life had become a quiet peace. Yet, a strange fear remained hidden in my heart. How long would this continue? If the power ended one day, we would return to the same life of poverty. Syra sometimes said we should share this secret with no one. Otherwise, people might call us mad or try to take the notes away. We agreed to keep this secret between us and use the note's power only as needed. We started paying the children's school fees, did some home repairs, and bought medicine for Syra's sick parents. Every night, when lying in bed, I would hold Syra's hand and think that perhaps some unseen power had chosen us and was testing how we would use it. Syra would quietly nod, and together we closed our eyes and silently gave thanks. Believe me, after that day, I never took that road again, the road where my life had taken such an extraordinary turn. The three women, invisible to anyone else, had sat in my rickshaw. Their smiles, presence, and graceful demeanor still feel like a dream. But it was not a dream, it was reality. A reality that changed my destiny. After this, I decided I would not reveal this secret, not mention the women, nor speak of the note's power. Could have been a test. We improved our life, yet kept simplicity. I first saved the money and prepared myself to live differently. I bought a new rickshaw for an old relative who worked hard but was struggling. When I gave him the keys, tears of joy came to his eyes. He tried to kiss my hand, but I hugged him and said, "This is Allah's blessing." I gave another rickshaw to my cousin. We agreed he would keep half of what he earned and give me the other half. This way, not only did my own family's needs get fulfilled, but I could help others as well. I still drive my rickshaw daily, leaving at dawn and returning at night. But now there is no worry about feeding my children or paying school fees. My 3 children go to school, wear good clothes, eat on time, and Syra ensures nothing is lacking in their care. The woman who once cried with me on the street because the children had no milk, now her face is calm. She is grateful, strengthens me, and reminds me that all of this came through someone's prayer or charity. Even though our situation improved, we did not change our lifestyle. We neither flaunted wealth in the neighborhood nor told anyone about the magical notes. We lived simply, spending only what was necessary. Perhaps that is why the blessings continued. As the tribe warned, overusing the notes would end their power. We always remembered that. One note remains in my pocket, the other in Syra's purse, and we endlessly give thanks to Allah. He helps His righteous servants, just as He helped us. That is why it is said, never lose hope, because Allah's help can come in any form, however strange, whether people believe it or not.